and a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us for another live episode of Conversations with Michael. And as always, we are streaming live from our home studio in the beautiful Willamette Valley of Oregon. And as we enter the month of September, we're just beginning to feel the presence of summer just beginning to wane just a little bit. It's like a sad goodbye. And I just love that about nature. It's beautiful to experience the change of seasons. And how does that relate to all of us? Are you also noticing all the changes happening in your own life? It seems so obvious, but sometimes even when it's right in front of us, we can miss how the heart is celebrating life every single day, every single moment. More often than that, it tends to be very subtle. And of course, there is that part of us that always asks, notice what? What is going on? And we will always answer by suggesting that you simply stop doing whatever you're doing. Stop doing life long enough just to notice what is right in front of you. Because, my friends, this is without a doubt the most intense time to experience being human. But how many human beings allow themselves just to be, even for just a moment? As we speak, there are quantum shifts happening on this planet on so many different levels. And I understand it can be really, really unsettling for the mind when it has worked so hard for most of our life, trying its best to make sense of life, trying to find the missing piece to the mystery of creation. So it's such an honor for Coca and myself to work, to create, and to sometimes play with a group of people who made a conscious choice to do something really different. They chose to create their own reality. Not based on what you do or what role you're currently playing, nor is it about creating an improved version of your human story. By insisting that the presence of your soul enhance your human wants, needs, and desires. The biggest change happening at this time in so many people as we speak has to do with your human part. And now, finally, its willingness to coexist inside your soul story, not the other way around. This is huge, really huge. And that experience has been called many, many things. But with the presence of your soul, it's really all about the experience, isn't it? The being part has apparently been missing from the human experience for a very long time. Or was it really? Was it? The truth is, we didn't really notice what was right in front of us all the time. So as a conscious creator, we wake up now each day and just jump right into the river of life with such a deep passion for living because we did notice something really important was missing from our life. No need for drama. Most of us stop blaming others for our own circumstances. Our passion for life now is touching our heart in such a very deep way, inside of what we call the human soul experience. Despite all the problems that exist on this planet, which, let's be honest, there are many. So what have you noticed? In all of this, what have you noticed? Indeed, is this not really, despite everything going on around us, the best time to be human? I mean, take a breath with that. Fully awake, fully alive, fully conscious. If, of course, your human part is now willing to coexist inside of your soul's story, not the other way around. We've had the honor of working with a few thousand people during the last, 40 years. It has been the best experience I've ever had as a human being. And like most of you, I've had a lot. To me, it feels like just yesterday that Michael first offered to co-teach with me. As a very naive young man teaching Reiki classes. It was and continues to be, as a teacher, just the role I enjoy playing. It doesn't define who I am, just as being a parent or an employee doesn't define who you are. But more often than not, we start to feel stuck when these roles do start to define us. We've all been there. But have you noticed how that too is changing? So it's been our passion to continue serving the integration of the soul inside of these evolving human bodies. It's not a very popular choice, but it does offer a very unique experience. So we know most of the issues that come up from such a choice. And let's be honest once again, there are a lot of them. And sometimes it just helps to gather with some of your fellow creators, to act as supports to each other, and to share your own unique experience as a creator of your own experience. That's why we created Conversations with Michael. It's also why we created a variety of online group sessions over the last 5 or 6 years. Originally, we called these a master's circle. They acted as a place simply to share and to act as supports to each other. While Michael and myself would offer our own perspective or wisdom. It's something we still do every month for members of the Masters Unplugged program. So lately we decided it was time to extend that invitation once again to a much larger group on our Masters Unplugged Facebook page. Let's take a peek at that. The theme for today's session is all about coexisting inside your soul story. In preparation, in a way, for another event we are also really excited about. It ties in really well with how we started today's show. It's time for any awakened human being to just stop. Take a deep breath. And perhaps for the first time, just be you. Just be you as the spirit you are and have always been. Let's add a visual to this upcoming event. If this speaks to your heart, feel free to check it out on our website. Because, my friends, your light is needed now more than any other time on this planet. Without your light, no awakened human being could bear to watch the struggles humanity is dealing with at this time. On that note, let's take that deep breath as I, Robert, step back and allow Michael to step forward inside of Michael's story. Indeed it is. It is I, Michael, in service to the sovereign creator of your own experience. It indeed represents a type of freedom that very few human beings have ever experienced. Our dear friend Yeshua, he received the most airplay from the role that he played. So many of you that are here today, you were also here on this planet at that time. You might not remember, but you helped to anchor the seeds of Christ consciousness. So in this lifetime, those very seeds have not only sprouted in your life, but they continue to grow like a flower inside of you. For your human part, it has tried its best to manage this growth. It has tried to contain it inside of its human story in the name of its own safety. In part because your human part has one or two concerns, legitimate concerns, about being a radiant being on this planet. But what have all of you discovered? Indeed, true freedom, in whatever form, can never be contained, nor can it ever be managed. But it can be allowed to expand and to grow, which in turn offers each of you a new role to play in your life. A life that now embraces the river of life as being true freedom in motion. And again, for your human part, you could accept such a presence if only this river flowed in one direction, in a straight and narrow linear path, without all those annoying curves that make it impossible for the mind to see what is around the bend. But if the mystery of life was just a puzzle that needed to be solved, where's the joy in that? At the very core of your soul, its greatest joy is to experience the unknown. Oh, we've been beating the drum on that for a while now. No roadmaps, no Google search. Because for your soul, it knows without knowing how it knows that whatever it chooses to experience, it is always safe. Take a breath there and feel whatever is coming up for you. Inside your soul's story, not the human story, your soul's story, it is always safe. Which for the most part, does that feel like that exists inside your human story? Because your soul knows without a doubt that it is the one that is creating it all of it. It has taken us many years to inspire a small group of human beings to now take ownership of this physical experience as a sovereign creator. Inside of these physical bodies to experience you and only you. That, my friends, takes a true master to disentangle yourself from all that is not you. Such a choice requires the deepest, deepest love and respect for you. It requires a willingness not to play in this collective movie that has seduced the vast majority of human beings. It requires a willingness to accept all parts of you. Indeed, both those parts that are more evolved and those that are not. To accept and allow that some days will be filled with rainbows, but others will not. It takes a true master to shift from reacting to life to simply changing the role you're playing. What a freedom at any moment to choose to play whatever role you want, because it's always inside your own movie now, your own story. But to accept such a freedom, it also takes a true master to acknowledge those parts of you that continue to believe that life cannot be trusted under any circumstance. And to that part, things are happening every day to millions of human beings without their consent. But that doesn't mean it's happening to you, given the road you have traveled. So many of you now embrace the free-flowing nature of the river of life when once it used to scare the hell out of you. Because now you know you are creating it all, but from within your being part. You have literally gone through hell and back just to better understand how the doing and being parts were designed to coexist. For most of your life, it was all about those underlying control issues that were connected to the doing part. All those human issues that have played such a huge part in the collective story of humanity. But we are speaking to the ones who made a truly profound choice. A choice that separated you from your collected human story. To no longer settle for a 10-second orgasm when your natural state is to live an orgasmic life. Each moment, each minute, each day. How are we doing with that, my friends? Because there are a lot of distractions inside your collective story that would make such a thing appear to be impossible. You also realized that if your biological human family had been just a little more patient as a small child, you would have been glad to introduce yourself to your family rather than being given a name that had nothing to do with you. You realized as you began to awaken that you couldn't remember the last time that you had an original thought. You had a hard time remembering any time in your day when you were not thinking. And you also realized that most human beings don't even bother to think about such things. So all of you have come a long way. Thank you, my friends, for staying on your path. Not the path, the path to your freedom. And for those of you that are still on this planet, well, you have also realized that originally there were millions of soul beings who incarnated in this lifetime. And like you, they came here to hopefully experience what you are experiencing right now. But only a few thousand survived all the stress from playing inside of that collective story. You've heard it from us many times, but we feel it's important that you hear it again, right now. Because from our perspective, this human family is just damn lucky you're still here. I know that might sound a little coarse, but it's true. So is now a good time for all of you to just stop for just a moment and to feel how precious you are. Go ahead. Feel that for you and only you. How priceless your very presence is in this physical reality. Indeed, not just to the human species, but to all life on this planet. because you are reintroducing the presence of your being part in the form of the river of life through your radiance from your passion for living. Now, all of you that have been following our teachings over the years, you know that I'm okay with spending some quiet moments during your day, allowing your light to shine. But my question has always been, why the disconnect when you start doing life? Why the disconnect from the being and doing parts? Why not shine your light, your passion for creating the life you're enjoying now in all the things you experience as a human being? Sure, it's really healthy and good for you to take a moment and to just shine. But then get off your butt and go enjoy your life. Your passion in motion is simply brilliant. You think sitting provides quite the radiance. You have yet to really, a lot of you have yet to really experience your passion in motion. This, in part, is why I asked Robert lately to create a new series of workshops to help break the spell between the doing and being parts of you. I, Michael, am really looking forward to offering my services for 3 full days. Indeed, combined with some of our live group sessions that we can also work with each of you individually. So many of you feel stuck when your human part believes your freedom exists inside of its story. It has defended that with a passion. But it is a story that for the most part is very conflicted, wounded, and lacks trust. It wants to experience all the attributes of your soul, but on its terms, inside of its human story. Your freedom, my friends, has nothing to do with creating an improved version of your human story. You've heard us say this countless times. True freedom invites your human part to play a new role, one that actually allows your soul to experience itself while also residing inside of your physical body. And it is here that so many human beings hit the brakes because its pride is a little hurt. The human part questions how being of service to your soul offers a more elevated experience for it. And this is where most awakened human beings pause their journey by asking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Well, let's start with eternal life and let's go from there. Unconditional support, total acceptance for all that is. But from the human part, from all those issues, we keep hearing the same thing over and over again. Show me the money. Show me the money. So your freedom becomes very tangible, very real, when your human part makes the most difficult choice it could ever make: to coexist inside your soul story, not the other way around. But what did you discover by allowing your soul's presence to be present in this way? Indeed, some of you here that are participating in I Spirit, you know what we speak of. Why limit the human experience to one reality? Indeed, inside your soul's story, there are no limits. There are no agendas, no conditions. All that sounds kind of surreal if you spent most of your life as a human being inside a polarized mental construct of a reality. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. We're talking about your freedom once again. Let's take a deep breath. If only this freedom was something you could obtain, like a driver's license. But freedom, true freedom, is something your human part can only allow. And after failing to obtain it, it's hard for the human part to make that shift. So what did you discover? Indeed, it's even harder not to live with it. This is what so many of you have started to acknowledge. It was your human pride that was resisting your soul. You realize you could live with your broken pride, but you couldn't live one more day without experiencing the unconditional nature of your freedom in the form of your soul. Inside of the human collective story, freedom is but a game of push and pull, with a variety of different opposing energies. In fact, the game itself relies on the pursuit of happiness that will never be realized. And that would be like playing a video game that no one has ever won. So a lot of you did something very unexpected. You just stopped playing the game. Good for you. Thank you. At least long enough to experience something new. Not because you had given up on your freedom. You realized the freedom you desired doesn't exist inside the game of polarized opposites. And now that so many of you are experiencing a sense of freedom that feels authentic, now you want it to be a part of your life every day, every moment of every day. Let's take a deep breath there. What a journey it's been. What a journey it has been. Because inside of this physical reality, as you discovered, it can take a little while for things to actually manifest. But for many of you, your patience had also reached its limit. So what did you do? You discovered a brilliant way to speed up the integration. Instead of reincarnating a few more times that would help to anchor your new identity, let's say a little more gracefully, you began to realize that if you could somehow upgrade your biology, that the potential of speeding things up quite a bit was real, was possible. But it also had the potential of blowing everything up. Let's not go there. Most of you ignored that fact. Which brings us to what? Welcome to the light body. And this, my friends, is no cosmetic upgrade. It goes to the very core of these carbon-based cellular structures that have supported the physical body for a very, very long time. And now that some of you indeed are experiencing the light body, your light body, many of those carbon-based cells are going through a major reset, which at times can feel really awkward, a little disturbing, or just painful. Some of those cells are actually capable of living alongside your light, while some of them are not. Not a very comfortable experience. Not recommended for the faint of heart. In fact, it is this very choice that in a way separates you from all those that have walked this path before you. All this is new in the manner that you are allowing it to be. And this should tell you something about you. Remember our claim that at the core of your soul, its joy is to experience the unknown. Its greatest joy is to walk the path least traveled, fearlessly. But that is only possible if it knows it is the original self too, but with your name on it. Very good. Very good. Now, not everyone who chose to embody the light body has stayed on this planet for a variety of reasons. And let's just say all of them are valid. But they too now are some of your greatest supporters while existing in the etheric realms. Because they too know firsthand that it's not so easy to embody the presence of your soul in a physical form. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So everyone has their own unique story, their own unique history as it relates to the cells in the body. Not everyone trusts in this thing called acceptance. To the human part, it sounds like you're saying, just let the abuse, the discomfort continue because you don't deserve any better. But of course, that is not what we are implying when we use that word. Acceptance is allowing what is, no matter your circumstances and no matter what it is, while you continue to create for yourself, but without all those unresolved, conflicted feelings choosing for you. And if you insist that your soul is welcome to experience itself, but inside your human story, then all those unresolved, conflicted feelings will become greatly magnified. Inside your soul's story, they can be released by your soul's light, transcended. But what also happens? Your human identity, the one that is supported by all those conflicted emotions, it begins to shift, change, and for some, dissolve. So as we look at your light and its impact on this planet, to us it's like watching all those fireworks in the United States to celebrate their freedom on July 4th. Not the same type of freedom we are speaking of. Except your light is now celebrating the freedom we are talking about. It wasn't earned through some type of battle. Your human part put down the sword just long enough to experience what has been missing in its life since like forever. Unconditional acceptance. It's not only changing everything in your life, but all life on this planet. You knew before you incarnated that the cycle of life on this planet was entering a new phase, a very important phase, one that would offer the human species a variety of new opportunities, many of which would look like a very good sci-fi movie. But without the heart of creation, or your being part present, these new opportunities would remain stuck inside a reality, inside a game that relies on conflict and turmoil to sustain itself. So you didn't come here, any of you, carrying the burden of ensuring that this new phase becomes real. That's not your responsibility. You came here as the second coming of Christ consciousness to ensure that the family of humanity, at the very least, has a choice. You can't make that choice for them as much as you would like to, but you can feel or see how this new phase has indeed the potential of expanding this human experience beyond anything humanity has ever dreamt of. And because at the core, as a soul being, you know without a doubt that you are a lover of life, unlike so many others who are willing to fearlessly go where very few have ventured. It's why you're here. When you didn't need to be, but you still came. Because you are a lover of life, knowing that with the being part of you present, you are a living example of joy in motion. Which brings us, my friends, to the end of today's session and the beginning of yet another opportunity to allow the being and doing parts inside of you to now coexist. There already exists a reality where they do. It exists inside your soul's story. You can allow yourself to experience it in a very tangible way by being on this planet but not of it, and by accepting the invitation from your soul to coexist inside of its story while being human too. And of course, the reality we speak of is where I, Michael, also call home. We call it the crystalline realm. The crystalline realm. Home to what I consider to be some of the most incredible beings in all creation. There are now several thousand human beings on this planet who have allowed their own consciousness to now coexist in their own soul story. while living alongside a human family who, for the most part, has ignored the being part for ages. These fully awakened human beings represent a true blessing to this planet. They are here by the grace of their own state of consciousness. And today, they have gathered alongside of all of you in spirit, inviting you to join them, to be on this planet, but not of it. Many of you are comfortable embracing such a statement intellectually, conceptually, until, of course, you come face to face with your biological family or all the drama that feeds all those power games, while the mind continues to search for the missing piece in your life. It's time, my friends, for that mind of yours to step down from its self-appointed CEO position. It's time to serve the being part with all of your heart. Although none of you are looking for any type of recognition for the service you're providing, this is, without a doubt, your time to touch the hearts of every human being with your radiance, both being and doing. A light that cannot be managed inside your human story. Let it shine, dear human, inside the story of your soul, in these physical bodies with you. We look forward, my friends, to our shared adventures with so many of you, using, of course, the magical child inside of you as your trusted guide. Until our next gathering, all our blessings.